Oh, session 25, Rift of Nations, my homebrew campaign, doing a breakdown of. I'm going to share my Dungeon Master side of the picture and let you in behind the scenes, let you know what I thought was going to happen and then what actually happened. So let's dive right into it. Big, huge curveball. If you've been staying along with the series, it's a big curveball. Even if you haven't, this is a really cool moment. In the beginning of this campaign, I built the campaign around 4 characters. They're literally, their backstories built this campaign. I have whole videos explaining how I did all of that, and it's a whole process that I've learned a whole bunch from doing it this way. But one of the players had some real life stuff come up that they weren't able to do or weren't able to continue in the campaign, so they fell out. I brought in someone from my original campaign, super clutch move. They came in, I added even more backstory around this character, tied them into the whole story, built some things out based solely around them. Big picture, awesome, cool. 20 something sessions later, this is session 25, so technically 22 sessions later, the player of the character that left came back to me and he's like, all right, look, my schedule's freed up now. I really want to play. I was really excited. I wanted to do it so bad. Let's do this thing. And I was like, all right, Odin's coming back. So Odin, the monk fighter, barbarian, lycan werewolf type character is coming back. So I ended last session, if you saw the last breakdown, where the group of wanderers, which is like a wandering band of this tribe of people, they had just been attacked by werewolves, and the players came there and they're like, we just were attacked by werewolves. We've contained them over here. We need you to, if y'all can talk, we don't know anything about werewolves. Apparently y'all have, and the players said like they're familiar with the things from all their previous travels. And they're like, well, did you go talk to them or something? And that's where we ended the session. And guess who's in that werewolf group? Odin, the new character. So I had the player in real life. We're talking real life right now. I had the player come over to my house early, about 15, 20 minutes early before everybody else, park really far away, go up, hide upstairs in the house, and then wait. And then I describe, oh, you see this? And they're like, and they even asked at the table, like, is anywhere in these werewolves, do we see Odin? And I was like, make a perception check, make a perception check. And they rolled 17. And I was like, okay, so you look around and you look, and I start clocking all this other stuff that doesn't really matter, just building everything up. I was like, and you know what you do? And you see a large figure, big, huge hulking dude, and he lays down, and behind him is Odin. You see Odin. And then I was like, oh. And so at this point, I told the player, I was like, don't come down until I literally call for you. They're like, oh, so Odin's here. Okay, cool. And now the players hear Odin. They've heard of Odin before, so they probably think I'm just going to be role-playing Odin. That checks out for a Dungeon Master role play, pilot a old character or something. Yeah, sure. That checks out. So then they're like, okay, cool. Let's go talk to him. So as soon as they go talk to him, they're like, hey, Odin. And they go talk to him. And I was like, you know what? In order to talk to Odin, hey, Storm, go ahead and come on down. And and then the player comes downstairs and was like, wait, what? And so then there's a cool reunion at the table when Odin comes back to the original group to combine with the new player. We got 5 players now. Let's go. I've always said that 5 is my perfect number for players, and now we got 5 in this campaign. It's awesome, awesome, awesome. Super cool moment, just in a real life level. It was a super cool moment, right? So now to be able to have the 5 players and they come back, and I'm able to take this opportunity now back into Dungeon Master mode. I can take this opportunity to accelerate the plot of this campaign and keep everything going in the direction of towards the end of the campaign, right? Of getting everything back, not back on track, but just getting the story to accelerate in the way that they're taking it, right? Is they're wanting to go do these things. A great example, one of the players was like, right, next we need to go get, there's a one of the nations has a very high functioning prison, and there are people inside of that, and one of his key members from his backstory has been kidnapped there. And guess what? Odin, the new character that's been brought in, he has a person that's been kidnapped and taken there too. What a coincidence, right? So I furthered that to the plot. He brought in some extra information to help them with this. He brought in extra items to help them with this. He brought in a dream crystal. There's 10 dream crystals in the world. He brought one from stuff that he did. I did a one-on-one session with this player, multiple little on and offs of just in between times to get his things caught up in the 5 months of time that has passed since his character has been left to now of what he's been doing. Really cool stuff. Really cool stuff. So now they're all part of the group again. They have some time to catch up. It's like, what have you been doing? What have y'all been doing? And there's cool. And there's a gray area of like, all right, I'll catch him up it's with normal things. Y'all can role play out whatever you want to talk about. I'll make sure we fill in the gaps. If there's anything y'all want to be like, oh, make sure to tell him this. I'll tell him one-on-one after the session, just to not bog the session down, right? So lots of lore stuff going back and forth. They figure some stuff out. They talk a lot about getting things up to speed on what they're doing and where they're going. So then another one of the wanderers, the group of the wandering tribe comes back. Turns out this NPC is connected to Odin this way, again accelerating the plot and further connecting the whole group together and all the overlapping things. So it all worked out perfectly as far as what I wanted to have happen. It worked out. And so here's the picture of what I got going here. Session 25. I actually forgot this. I forgot to do this, so that's great. So session start for that's funny. I forgot to do this. So I'm going to take this. This is Notion. I use this for my Dungeon Master binder. So I'm going to turn this red, just remind myself that I didn't do that about the housekeeping stuff. Anyway, Odin stuff about the lore, the things he knows about where he's came from. He has a loot bag of, I took this opportunity as a player coming back to give the player some magic items and stuff, which also are sending the party down the story rabbit hole. A bunch of cool stuff. Q got an upgrade, the Dream Crystal. They took the Dream Crystal because there's 10 of them. Q is a Warforged character, and in this version of the lore, they are fueled by Dream Crystals, and there's only 10 of them, and there's only 10 Warforged. But one of the Warforged from the Cold Nation, which is where Odin's character's from, was never activated, never used, and they had a Dream Crystal from it, and they were able to, it was broken and cracked and whatever from other stuff, but he was able to infuse himself, and he gained +2 strength, right? So his modifier went up by +1, which isn't too crazy because how he built his character only had 16 strength, brought it up to 18. It's not too bad. And I played heavily into the wild surges that he's got going on, and I gave him a bunch of other cool magic items, some schematics for some other bigger magic items possibly in the future. And then we talked about all this different stuff. So I have all this stuff ready, and then at the bottom here I have this Tauros blockade, which is the prison, and I have a whole slew of things for that. And within each of these, like the water's edge and the storage place and all these different things that I have ready to go for that. So I thought this is where now the branches off happen. I thought they were going to go right to the Tauros blockade, which is the prison that both of their NPCs are inside of. I thought they were going to go right there, but the interpretation of one of the players was they have to go meet up with one of their contacts, and I had forgotten that could have been an interpretation, have to go meet up with a contact. I'd forgotten I'd said that. So I was like, oh, okay. So then I have to now dungeon master them. And this is towards the end of the session now. Lots of talking back and forth. I wanted to throw a combat at them. I have a pulse check on my group. They love combats. We didn't have a combat last session, so I really wanted to have a combat this session because there's a lot of lore stuff's been going on. We had a big, huge combat, and then we had now 2 sessions of no combats, which I'm like, I wanted to give them a combat, but I wasn't able to get it in there because I thought they were going to go to the prison and there was going to be something ready for them. But they didn't. They went to the town, so they go to the town. They sneak into the town. We get in there. They meet up with a contact, and then we ended the session as a planning station of how are we going to do this, right? And that's where we're going to leave off. And I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to make a group message now with a new player added in and said, y'all can talk about what it is you want to do here. If you have questions during the next week, you can ask me, and we're going to play again next week. So there we go. It's summer now, so we're going to try and play, and then we'll go back to alternating. And I have another cool thing announcement for this channel that I'll announce once it actually happens as another series that I want to start here on this channel instead of just this series. I got big plans. So stay tuned for that. Actually, one more thing. Nightmare Plane. A lot of the stuff that they've been playing around with is Darius, the druid / warlock dreamweaver, nature caster. Lots of stuff going on with that character. He's been messing around with dreams and entering into people's dreams. Ivar now is consistently trying to get into people's dreams, so it's been pretty interesting as far as how this whole dream walking thing is going and getting into people's dreams and all this other stuff that's been going on. So there's a lot of dream stuff, which is another thread of the plot from another big picture Dungeon Master perspective. I have a lot of different threads that they can go down, and each of the different threads take them towards the end of the campaign in a different way. Whether it's information they gain, whether it's things that they unlock that they can do, lots of different options. So I'm really excited to see where they go with this because I still don't know, because this campaign was built around their backstories. And now with the new player added in and they got their sights set, Who knows what's going to happen? I'm excited for the next few sessions, though, because they're going to be a breaking and entering, lots of different combats, lots of big stuff happening, getting characters out of there. Are they going to be able to get them out of there? Big combat or a skill challenge? Who knows? But either way, stay tuned for the next one and stay creative. Think outside the box. Peace.